This is Honduras, where you can find the captivating ancient ruins of Copan, showcasing the legacy of the Maya civilization. Hello, welcome to Opentiera. Today we're diving into the vibrant tapestry of Honduras. Nestled in Central America, this country boasts a rich cultural heritage, natural landscapes, and a history colored by ancient civilizations and colonial influences. Stay tuned to explore the facets of Honduras, from its diverse cuisine to its thrilling outdoor activities. Honduras is located in Central America, bordering the Caribbean Sea, between Guatemala and Nicaragua. It can be divided into three major regions: the Caribbean coastal plains along the northern coast, the mountainous interior highlands, and the Pacific lowlands in the south. The interior mountains and hills cover about 80% of Honduras. The main chain of the Cordillera Entre Rios runs east and west across the center of the country. The highest point is Cerro Las Minas at 2,870 meters. There are fertile highland valleys between the mountain chains where most of the population lives. The Caribbean coastal plains in the north are part of Central America's fertile lowlands. The climate is hot, and the land is suited for growing bananas and other tropical fruits. The second largest river in Central America, the Ulua River, runs along the northern coast and empties into the Gulf of Honduras. The Pacific coastal plains in southern Honduras are narrower and less fertile than the Caribbean lowlands. However, important cities like the capital Tegucigalpa and the major port San Pedro Sula are located in this region. The Pacific coast has beautiful beaches along the Gulf of Fonseca. Honduras has a rich history spanning many centuries. The earliest inhabitants were indigenous tribes, including the Maya, Lenca, and Miskito. The ancient Maya civilization spread into western Honduras from Guatemala and the Yucatan around 2000 BC. The Maya built cities with pyramids, temples, palaces, and ball courts. Copan, in western Honduras, was one of the most important Maya centers and flourished from the 5th to 9th centuries AD. Christopher Columbus landed near present-day Trujillo in 1502, claiming Honduras for Spain. The Spanish established their main colonial settlement at Comayagua and gradually conquered the indigenous peoples. Gold and silver mining was a major industry, and the ports became important bases for shipping the riches back to Spain. Spanish rule brought Roman Catholicism and the encomienda system, which allowed Spanish settlers to exploit indigenous people for forced labor. Honduras spent nearly 300 years as a Spanish colony, until Criollo, full-blooded Spanish born in the colonies, inspired by revolutions in America and France, began organizing independence movements in the late 1700s. Leaders like José Cecilio del Valle advocated autonomy from Spain. Tensions erupted in 1812, when a revolt against Spanish taxes spread through Tegucigalpa, though the rebels still pledged loyalty to the Spanish king. In 1821, Honduras formally broke from Spain by joining Agustín de Iturbide's Mexican Empire, which was short-lived. By 1823, Honduras had joined the Federal Republic of Central America with its neighbors. It was not until 1838 to 1840 that Honduras fully declared independence after the dissolution of the Central American Federation. During the transition, the Criollo Francisco Morazán was a key military and political leader. Hondurans were driven to seek independence due to Enlightenment ideals of liberty, anger over colonial taxation and governance, inspiration from abroad, and growing divisions with Spanish-born officials. There was political instability and a series of coups and dictatorships throughout much of the 20th century. The United States began intervening extensively in Honduras to protect its interests, especially the banana trade. A major strike by banana workers led the US to deploy troops in Honduras in 1903. The World Bank estimates Honduras's total population at about 10 million people as of 2022. The population of the country is ethnically diverse, with heritage from indigenous peoples, Europeans, Africans, and others. Mestizos, people of mixed European and indigenous ancestry, make up over 90% of Hondurans. There are also indigenous ethnic groups including the Lenca, Tolopan, Chorti, and Garifuna peoples. Approximately 1 to 2% of Hondurans are white, of full Spanish ancestry. The predominant religion in Honduras is Roman Catholicism, brought to the region by Spanish colonizers in the 16th century. Today, about 46% of Hondurans are Catholic. Protestant churches, including evangelical groups, have expanded rapidly in the 20th century, and now about 41% of the population adheres to Protestantism. There are also small Muslim and Jewish communities. Spanish is the official language of Honduras and is spoken by the vast majority of Hondurans. However, some indigenous languages are still spoken by ethnic minority groups. English is spoken by a minority of Hondurans, especially in business settings and along the Caribbean coast. Honduras has one of the least developed economies in Latin America, with high poverty and unemployment. Its GDP stands at around $31 billion, according to World Bank estimates. The economy relies heavily on agriculture, forestry, and fishing. Major agricultural exports are bananas, coffee, and tropical fruits, which account for about 1/3 of export revenue. Mining produces small amounts of gold, silver, lead, zinc, and other minerals, but only makes up around 2% of the GDP. Manufacturing is limited to food processing, beverages, textiles, and clothing, mostly occurring in factories along the northern coast. Tourism centered around Honduras's natural attractions is a growing industry, but remains stifled by political instability. Overall, Honduras faces substantial challenges, including poverty, debt burden, corruption, weak institutions, and inequality in income distribution. And a small elite controls much of the economy. Honduran culture reflects a blend of indigenous, Spanish, and African roots. Though a small Central American nation, Honduras has a vibrant and diverse cultural heritage seen in its art, literature, music, celebrations, and traditions. The culture emerges from multi-ethnic influences, with each group contributing unique flavors that come together in Honduran identity. The Garifuna are descended from Carib, Arawak, and West African people, and have a distinctive style of folk art. Their masks made from coconut represent spirits. Other crafts include woven baskets, drums, hammocks, and mahogany dugout canoes. Poet Juan Ramón Molina was part of an avant-garde modernist literary movement in the 1920s-30s. His melancholic poetry explored existential themes. Novelist Ramón Amaya Amador wrote realist fiction exploring the lives of the poor and working class, including his famous novel Prisión Verde about banana workers. Feminist writer Amanda Castro explored the inner lives of women and criticized machismo culture in novels like Cien Voces y una Guitarra. Garifuna music combines African vocals with Caribbean rhythms played on drums and maracas. Punta is a popular Garifuna dance music. Folk music developed by mestizos uses instruments like the marimba, guitar, accordion, and fiddle. Songs often have Iberian roots. Salsa bands, reggaeton artists, heavy metal groups, and reggae performers thrive in Honduras' contemporary music scene. Honduran cuisine is a mix of flavors characterized by its use of locally sourced ingredients like plantains, beans, corn, and seafood. It's a cuisine that reflects the country's geographical diversity, incorporating elements from both the Caribbean and Central American culinary traditions. Let's start with baleadas, a beloved Honduran street food. Picture a soft wheat flour tortilla generously filled with refried beans, a sprinkle of cheese, often the local queso fresco, and sometimes complemented with scrambled eggs, avocado, or Honduran-style sour cream. It's a simple yet satisfying dish, perfect for breakfast or a quick snack on the go. Next up, catrachas, a colloquial term for the people of Honduras, and also a name for a dish that showcases the country's love for meat. Catrachas typically feature a serving of grilled meats, beef, chicken, or pork, accompanied by sides like fried plantains, rice, beans, and a fresh salad. This dish embodies the heartiness and flavors deeply embedded in Honduran culinary culture. Tajadas represent the art of transforming plantains into a crispy, delightful treat. These are thinly sliced ripe plantains, fried until golden and crispy. They can be served as a side dish or even enjoyed as a standalone snack. Their sweet, caramelized taste makes them a favorite among locals and visitors alike. Finally, indulge in the comforting warmth of atol de elote. This traditional Honduran beverage is a creamy, sweet corn-based drink. It's made by blending fresh corn, milk, sugar, and spices like cinnamon to create a comforting, slightly thickened beverage that's often enjoyed during cooler evenings or as a comforting breakfast drink. If you enjoyed this video on Honduras, you'll love this next one.